Hello, 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 and welcome back to FRLT. It is time for the beginning of Season 3. Yes, it is finally time. You guys have been waiting a good old 2-3 weeks now to get the season underway. Last week, you guys saw, of course, the great qualifiers on Sunday. Of course, we had 4s if you tuned in for that. Same also for Tier 2 and Tier 1 last Wednesday and Tuesday. We don't have Tier 2 or 4s this week. It will be coming on next week. But we do have Tier 1 here tonight. And we go to Brazil for tonight. As you can see, 4.309 kilometers, 2.677 miles, 15 turns, 2 DRS turns down the pit straight and down the back straight. Lots of elevation on this track. And it's quite an interesting one for elevation. Looking at the standings specifically, of course, a race hasn't happened, so there isn't any standings. But these are the qualified teams: ABE, CRE, MET, TCRE, PEC, IRS, VEL, AERO, GRS, and TE, all qualified. The only team the biggest team to be lost from the championship was ultimately AMS, the reigning champions, who failed to qualify for Season 3 Tier 1, and ultimately saw themselves fail to qualify for any tier, as they had only signed up for one. We're going to be getting going in the next few moments, but we might as well have a look at the calendar while we're at it. We come to Brazil for round 1 of Tier 1. That's then going to be followed by Miami and Mexico, completing the America journey at the start of the season. Then we're going to be going to Great Britain, then Bahrain. Then we're returning to America for COTA. Then we go to the lovely area of, my apologies, I'm having to do invites, but to the lovely part of Europe, the European segment of the season, where we will have Austria, Hungary, and Monza. Then we go to China for round 10, and then we'll finally and lastly be going to Belgium. The track that was the opening race last season is this season's final race, which of course, incredibly interesting. There's some problems, some people are having problems joining. I'm going to send out another invite to the 2 drivers. I do apologize for having to do this. Of course, we'll be getting going in the next minute or so. I'm sending invites to the drivers again because they've sadly gotten kicked. We'll be going within about a minute or two. We should be getting going. I just need to find the other driver, and I'll invite him. There we go. Both invites have now been sent. So, we're going to be getting going about now. We're going to be going in about 2 minutes' time. And it gives me a little bit more time to talk about the teams, of course, that we have this season. We're having some minor problems right now with getting drivers in, so we're just waiting to get the final 2 drivers in for tonight. We've just got to wait another minute or so. Really like to get them in, so sadly PEC don't miss tonight, because it'll be really disappointing. The team that did incredibly well in the qualifiers might fail to get the race in because of connection problems. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think we have got one in. Yeah, we do have one PEC driver, and that's Alphonse Gomez, who is in. So yeah, we're going to be getting going now. Drivers should be readying up in the next few moments. We'll be heading to the track very, very shortly. Very shortly. A few drivers have readied up, not everybody. I think we have about 6 drivers who have actually readied up, which is slightly funny. My apologies for going a little bit slow. I'm trying to get everybody to ready up. So we're now going to be heading into the action. My apologies for a long burst of silence, me having to type long-ass messages to a bunch of people. But we're loading in just now. I'll bring you to it straight away. Just a reminder of the teams that made it through the qualifiers. It was ABE, CRE, MET, TTRE, PEC, IRS, VEL, AERO, GRS, and TE. And the defending champions of AMS was sadly knocked out after only one of their drivers turning up, which was, of course, very difficult for them. The team that finished third in the standings last season, the top 2 of the top 3 in the standings, are in the top 2. That's ABE and CRE. A surprise qualification from MEC and PEC put them 3rd and 5th. TTRE solidly fitting in where they ended their last campaign in 4th. The new teams, of course, MET, PEC, IRS, and VEL slotting nicely in. Same as also GRS. But AERO ultimately having their final run taken away. Sadly, yeah, AERO's final run was done. Of course, it's a pretty frustrating one for AERO, but they still qualified on based off of the second run from their driver. GRS qualified 9th, with TE just making it through in the qualifiers. By the way, they just made it through by a few hundredths, so it was a very close qualifiers. But we're now into qualifying. Yes, we are finally here for qualifying here tonight. Ghosting is off, which is, I know, something that's been a little bit controversial for some of the drivers. Some of the drivers and teams have found it slightly controversial why we don't have ghosting on. One of the reasons is because Slipstream is banned in this league. You can't give Slipstream to your teammate. And if it's seen as you're taking advantage of Slipstream, that can also result in a qualifying ban if you use Slipstream either. But the first driver out on track is actually a GRS driver. That's GRS Mackie, who comes out on track very aggressively, I must say, swerving from side to side here tonight. Going to be an interesting night. Going to be interesting to see how these guys can do. It's It's always interesting to see. Hello to everybody. Hello F1 Shorts. Hello Dom. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're all having a great night here tonight. At the moment, we're looking at like we might only have 18 or 19 drivers racing. CRE needed a late swap, so Gaten Cast is sadly out. He's going to be having a qualifying ban. Our first qualifying ban of the season comes in the first race. But other than that, let's ride on board with the first man to cross the line here tonight, and that is GRS Mackie. Out there on his own by a decent amount, I must say. But he's going to be crossing the line to start the lap, and the first flying lap of Season 3. Into Turn 1 he goes, braking just before the wall ends. You've got to throw the car in through Turn 1, now through Turn 2, now rounding out Turn 3, the center S section, to start off his first lap, and to also end off Sector 1. Not bad for a first sector. He's braking about 60 meters. He doesn't get the turn in. The car goes all the way off the track, and he does have to abort his lap. We're going to be looking behind to, I believe, that is the Red Bull of NTN. Yes, it is. It's a Red Bull of NTN, and I don't know why the camera angle is like this all of a sudden. Very random. This game is very random and very buggy. But we'll run with it. But so far, not too bad from NTN. The car isn't looking good. The car's looking like it's sliding a lot. It is struggling a lot for grip. Ending off the middle sector, though, not too bad. The car looks a bit more stable now through the final sector and through the end of the middle sector, but it's just heading up and down the hill. That Red Bull did not look happy, but again, I don't know why the camera angle is like this. I do apologize for the very random and odd camera angles we have. But a good lap. It's a 1 minute 7.362 to start off qualifying, and the first lap of Season 3 has now been completed. That's immediately beaten by AB Fusion, who goes just 100th faster on his lap. So very, very close between them. FA only slots in with a 7.9. Not the best of laps set by him here tonight. Not what he'll be looking for at all. I see you also out for them. I think Swifty's coming up the line. Swifty goes fastest of all. He goes to a 1 minute 7.281 before drifting through Turn 1, I say. Yes, drifting through Turn 1. So, what a surprising drift. Not too bad, though. We just saw MET Jaden. He just went 4th on the grid. Next driver to cross the line is going to be Mackie. He's improving by quite a bit. Let's see what he's going to do as he gets to the final part. And he crosses the line. He stays slowest of all. 1 minute 8.116 is all he can do. That's beaten by Yago, who goes into P6 for MET. Not too bad from himself. We now have FRC Knights coming up the line. He now goes fastest of all. 1 minute 7.170. It's a time that the Williams and CRE driver sets. It's a strong lap time. It's an incredibly strong lap time there from him. We just saw ICU go into P6, slotting behind his teammate by about quarter of a second at the moment. So it's not all greatness. That's immediately beaten by Luca, who goes into P6 now. Very strong lap from him. Next driver to be crossing the line. Who is it? Who's the next driver to be crossing the line here tonight? I think it might be Alphonse Gomez. We spoke about Peck's performance in the qualifiers, of course, finishing in 5th place, topping out, at the bottom of the top 5, but not too far away from the rest. Qualifier split by just a couple of tenths. But let's see whether Peck can hold up that performance. I know their driver Kingsman has struggled to stay in the lobby so far, but he has actually been able to stay in the lobby for now. But we're going to have to see how that goes. But a massive block from TCRE Lando. That is going to be looked at and definitely and probably, let's be honest, reported by the stewards. Very, very risky and something that Lando shouldn't have been doing there. And that was a really stupid mistake done by the McLaren there, by the TCRE driver, massive mistake. A mistake that you don't want to be making at all. Oh, gonna have to see how that will go. Azurk goes wide, he spins. Azurk spins, and it's disappointment for IRS. They're qualifying. NTN up there in 4th, while his teammate's struggling to complete a lap for the moment. It's been a little bit of a struggle, but let's see how the rest will go. We've got Hammer Time who's making his way around. We've got Kingsman who's coming up to the line. Kingsman is coming up to the line next. Let's see what he's going to be able to accomplish here. And across the line he goes. It is P9, a 1 minute 7.8. Currently the grid split by about a second from 1st to 12th. It's about a second gap splitting the top 12 for the moment. I do suspect that's going to come down as qualifying goes on. Lando is on those intermediate tyres. Not sure why he's on intermediate tyres. Alphonse Gomez is once again on a lap here tonight. Let's see what the Peck driver can really do. He's sitting 14th and bottom of the order. Let's see what he's going to do when he crosses the line. I bet this is going to be a better lap time. It is a very good lap time. It is P3. Peck showing a good debut. And that is a surprisingly strong debut by Peck. Very, very interesting. I'm going to pull up the cars quickly of who's driving what. It is TE in the Alpine. TE in the Alpine. Currently Swifty P2 and Donut in 9th. So some interesting stuff going on there. I don't know who is first and last in this group. I'm going to go with with Hammer Time over here, as he's currently pushing on a lap. I think he's going to be on an in-lap. Yeah, he's going to be on an in-lap. Lumi just invalidated, so his chances kind of disappeared. Milan is on a lap. He's going to be the next driver to cross the line. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. He needs a strong lap time here. They really do. AERO needing that lap time, needing that pace. And across the line he goes, P8. So at the moment, AERO only 7th and 8th in this qualifying session. Both in the Haas's side by side for the moment. But it's not looking like a perfect dream for Haas and AERO. They're looking like they might be struggling very slightly for performance. Same as TTRE. At the moment, neither driver set a lap. 3 drivers yet to set a lap so far. 2 of them are TTRE drivers. Let's see what Kason White's going to do when he crosses the line. He goes fastest of all! 9 thousandths faster than FRC Knights. 9 thousandths. That is just incredible. Incredibly close, I must say. It is a real achievement there. That is a solid, an incredibly solid lap time, I will say, nonetheless. It's one of the best lap times I think we've really seen. Knights is just starting his lap, though, but we've got a Mercedes on a run. That is the Mercedes of I See You. He's just crossing the line now. I think we've got Milan who's coming in. We do have a Ferrari on a lap. That's the other Ferrari. FA, he can only go 11th. We see immediately Fusion. He goes up to 3rd. So solid lap there from him. Not too bad. Swifty doesn't improve on his lap, by the way. So some disappointment there for him. We're going to be looking to Luca, who's invalidated on his lap. So we're now going to be looking behind. No. That was his teammate who's just done a lap. NTN goes off. He's not doing a lap. We've just seen Jaden cross the line. He's gone P4. Slight improvement found from him. And an improvement found from his teammate as well, who goes P9 now. So pretty solid there from himself. We've got FRC Knights who's coming up to the line next. Is he improving? No, he isn't. He's going for another run. Another lap late into the session. He obviously backed off there, not happy with his run so far. But still watching as the drivers go on throughout the session. Let's see how they're going to do. It's all coming down to this here tonight. We're looking to, I think it's going to be the McLaren of Lando who's going on a lap. I see you as on a lap. I don't think Knights is the only one on a lap that's right on board with the Williams. He's pushing. He's pushing quite a bit, but he's going to be out of fuel, so I don't think he's going to be setting a lap. Currently P2. Two drivers, by the way, have identical times, and that is FRC Knights and Fusion, who are both on a 1 minute 7.170. I've just noticed that. It is incredibly unusual to see moments like this in the league. It is very unusual. We've seen it only, I think, 2-3 times, but it's a very unusual and odd scenario, of course, when we do get things like that do come along. TCRE Lando's the next across the line. At the moment, he's wanting to catch up to his teammate too and try and make that a 1-2 in this session. We'll have to see. The gaps are very small. I must say, incredibly small within that top 8. Only about 2/10 dividing the top 8 at the moment. And across the line he goes. He can't beat his teammate. He finds himself over 4/10 behind, but it is still P12, slotting in very nicely there for himself. As I think we just saw F1 Gomez just go ahead of Swifty up into P6, so slightly, just getting very slightly closer and closer here. Who is next across the line? I think it is Lumi. Yes, Lumi's next across the line, on his way, making his way round rather quickly. VL need a good debut here tonight. They're in the RB, of course. Let's see what Lumi can do at the moment. Bottom of the session, he goes P13, no longer bottom of the grid. This is crazy. Yeah, the top 5, by the way, split by just over 0.5. That is how close the top 5 is split right now. It is so close. It's unimaginably close, to be fair. I haven't seen this, actually. We better be watching out for Peck here, whether they're giving slipstream or not. I don't think they're giving slipstream. No, they're not. There's a bit of a gap in all of this. But nah, they're coming into the pits anyway, so I was just worried they were giving each other slipstream and then a penalty would have to be given. Let's see what Hammer Time is up to. Let's see what he can do when he crosses the line. It is an improvement. It's 0.5 second, but it is still slowest of all. VEL not having the debut that they've really been wanting. Not having that at all right now. Only Lumi, and Lumi's finished his lap. Nobody else is on a lap. The next driver to actually start a lap is going to be AERO Luca. AERO really seeing themselves as a mid-pack team at the moment, like they did last season. They didn't find themselves in a great position. Currently, they're only 9th and 11th at the moment, so they'll only pick up, if they were to finish in these positions, 2 points to start off their season. Last season, 9 teams scored points in the opening race. Can we get 9 teams again? I'm not sure. It's going to be a very difficult thing to do, I must say. It will be incredibly difficult to do. Now, heading round the final corner, let's see how these guys are going to do. It is all coming down to this. AERO Luca, he's got to put in a lap here, because if he doesn't, he's got some traffic in the way as well. Luckily, there is only about 4 cars that's going to be getting in his way for the moment. He's up by 1/10 in the first sector. That isn't going to gain him a position, but it's going to get him even closer to the pack. So it clearly shows he has got enough pace. His teammate just sitting on the right there, waiting for him to move out the way. Very good timing there from himself and his teammate. Good teamwork going on between both AERO drivers. Now, making their way up the hill. Can Luca continue his lap? Yes, he can. And he's continuing it with massive amount of space. We've seen a few spins up to this penultimate corner. Can he actually hook it up right? Yes, he is. He's up 1/10.5 at the moment. So he might just see himself go into P8. That is the best he's looking at right now, is a P8 finish. So we're going to have to see how that's going to go, because there isn't a lot more he can do. And up to the line, he does go. He does find 1/10.5, and it is P9. He will stay in his position that he's in, and he half drifts it into turn 1. He moves out of the way very quickly for the next driver crossing the line. MET Jaden has ultimately invalidated. Disappointment there. NTN doesn't improve. I think he's going to be going for another run here. Yes, he is. He's going to be going till the end. Knights is on an out lap. I think we've got a Red Bull behind him who's about to set a lap. Everybody using everything they've got for the moment. Trying to figure out who's who's coming up to the line next. Kason White has just started his lap. It's a Ferrari coming up to the line next. It is Mackie. He isn't improving either. So none of the runs are really coming to the drivers to start off with. An invalidation for FR. Not exactly what he wants to be seeing. We've got F1 Gomez, his teammate, coming up to the line next. Let's see who else is coming up to the line. Everybody's crossing the line now to start their final runs. As Fusion goes even faster, trying to find a driver to choose. And it is Fusion who goes top of the times, 1 minute 7.040. He has set the fastest time and into the point zeros. It is going NTN even faster. IRS chasing a debut pole. A debut pole and possibly victory if they can carry that on. 1 minute 6.9. Knights can't beat that in the end. It's disappointment. No beating that in the end. Kason White isn't improving. We saw Jaden just go P4. Kason White can't improve on his session. He might be going again. I think he is going again. So some disappointment there. We saw 2 drivers retire. Now Mackey's coming into the pits. He's done with his lap. He isn't improving. So again, another driver out. That's now 3 drivers now out of the chance. You see, FA can't improve. Alphonse Gomez jumps P4. Very strong there from himself. We just saw TTRE Lando come across the line. Very, very good from him. I see you is somewhere. No, that was Fusion. We've got somebody else coming up to the line. That was Lumi who just crossed the line. I think we've got a Haas that's coming around. I think it's just AI. No, it's Milan. Milan who crosses the line. He goes P10. I'm just waiting to see who's going to cross the line next. Kinskman stays in his position of 13th. Hammer Time can't improve. I see you goes into P6. Kason White is going to be the final driver to finish off his lap. He improves by a 10th. He goes to P4. And that is a very strong lap. And I believe that is the final driver to do a lap. And that is our first ever qualifying session of Season 3. And it is the man, it is the Titan, the man, the Red Bull, and the IRS driver of NTN who steals pole position away from Fusion and then Knights. And that is your front 3, NTN, Knights, and Fusion, all on the podium on those top 3 positions. Quite an interesting grid, though. I mean, the fact that we have, at the moment, 6 different teams, from 6 different drivers from 6 different teams, holding up those 6 places. Those 6 positions are all held up by those 6, is very impressive. And the fact that the gap was about 2/10 between 1st and 7th just shows that there isn't a massive gap in all of it. And don't get me wrong, I think Fusion, I think these front 3 maybe the first front 5 got a bit of a toe, I would say, on their lap. But a very close qualifying in the end still. Only 800, just over a 10th splitting the top 4. And so it's incredibly close going into the race here at Brazil. It's going to be very interesting to see how it's going to go in the race. But let's do our grid. NTN is on pole, followed by Knights, Fusion, Kason White, Alphonse Gomez, Jaden, I See You, TCRE Lando, Swifty, Milan, AE Luca, Lumi, Kinskman, Yago, Efe, Azurk, Donut, Mackie, The Hammer Time, and Gaten Cars finally and in last place after a qualifying ban. 9/10 splitting first to last. That is what has split them for the moment from first to last, is that very small, that miniature, that ever so miniature gap between first and third, just spacing them out here. I'm going to be silent for a quick minute because I just need to type something. My apologies. I turned off my mic accidentally. That is my bad. I've just said an entire piece about strategy, which is really sad. Ultimately, let's see how it's going to go. The race is going to be very interesting. The drivers will be getting ready in about 2 minutes' time. But very interesting grid. Some people are saying that there's the Red Bulls, for instance, the IRS drivers specifically have been doing slipstream. Have been slipstreaming each other every lap, which of course, as you know, is very, 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 which was very, very, it's against the rules entirely. It's very bad to do in this league. Awful to do. I think somebody's readied up, and this isn't good. Yeah, somebody has readied up. This is not good at all. So we're about to get going. Here we go. And now it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here for Brazil for round 1 of season 3. It is a good getaway from Knights. He actually takes the lead. It's actually been a really good start from Knights, and also a good start from Fusion, who makes his way up to P2. It's a very, very strong start from second and third. NTN not getting the getaway he wanted. Few drivers dropping miles back. Few drivers really getting unlucky off of the start. Gaten cars having the worst of it, and same as Lando. I believe somebody readied up early. By about a minute they readied up early, but it was still early, so that will be figured out later on. But we can see a move happening. Kason White trying to make a move past I See You. Also, you can see the Alpine behind him. Swifty's getting racing. Swifty's getting very racy. And ultimately, it is not enough. And he's pushing, and he is getting pushed through corners. So you can see a lot of too wide action further behind. Azurk makes his way past FA for 13th on the grid. And now, heading through, you can see Jaden now makes an overtake. He's gone up into 7th ahead of Swifty. He's chasing down I See You. And that is a good way into turn 1 he goes. He's trying to get I See You. He does get I See You. And that's P6 for himself now. And that is a strong move made from the MET driver. MET doing exactly what they need to do. But I See You is coming straight back at him with D-Ice, but both of them have it. Mackie is retired. He's ultimately crashed, and it is a safety car. It is a safety car already on lap 2. GRS loser driver off of lap 2 already, and that is our first retirement of the season. Absolutely crazy start there. So, ultimately, interesting start. Some people are calling for a restart, which is going to be an interesting one. Safety car is heading round. Still a lot of people in their places. Some people are calling for a restart. Ultimately, I'm trying to think. Um, Ultimately, there won't be a restart because very few drivers were affected. Okay, so there won't be a restart because it was ultimately 3 drivers who were affected. Oh my god. Safety car is going to be coming in this lap. There won't be a restart because this is just, it is too... We're already into the race and so many drivers have been unaffected by this that there would be no point. As you can see, Knights will be leading them away. When is he going to go? How is he going to make this work? And let's see when he goes. He's going now. He's pulled the trigger and he's actually gone on a decent getaway. It saves him into turn 1. Here he goes. He's gone actually quite late on the brakes and he's made the apex perfectly. Let's actually have a look at the good old tires, which we love to look at. Front 2 is on mediums. That's why NTN did not get the best of a first lap because he was on the hard tires, same as F1's CodeMasters. So a few drivers not getting away from this too well. Some things didn't work out. A good start from Luca, who's made up 4 places, same as Azuk up 5 and Hammer Time up 4. Very interesting start there. Now, Knight going for it. Look at this. I see you making his way past Swifty into P9. He goes. The ABE currently on their way for double points. But still, not the lead of the championship at the moment. They have not led the championship ever in FRLT, by the way. They're one of the only teams not to have done it. Only 4 teams have led the have led the Constructors' Championship, and none of them have been ABE. Those teams were FG, AMS, also CRE. Sorry, 3 teams have led the standings. My apologies. 3 teams have led the standings in all of its time. But still, Knights leads us away. You can see Fusion sitting right behind. Same as NTN. They're both sitting really close. Still within a few tenths. You can see the entire grid snaking their way around. See all of these top 3. Oh, a mistake from Fusion. This could be a perfect opportunity for the Red Bull of NTN to make a move now. As he pushes very slightly through the corner. Now heading through the next one. And now he's unable to make the move. He did not take it. He didn't have the opportunity to take the opportunity. So he's now had to fall back in line and wait for another mistake from Fusion later on. But for the moment, we've got 7 different teams, 7 different drivers and 7 different teams sitting inside of our top 7 for the moment. And that is a massive amount of drivers, I must say. Now, heading down towards turn 1, you can just see how close Fusion is to Knights, who's made a mistake off the exit of turn 1. It's a massive mistake off of the exit of turn 1. Absolutely no way. Absolutely huge mistakes coming from Knights, but he's somehow been able to hold off the Mercedes attack, the ABE attack, and actually build a little bit of a gap through turn 4. You can see NTN sitting very close behind, and he's incredibly close behind, and you can just see how close he is. That Red Bull really wants to make a move, but you can just see he just isn't close enough to make that move. He keeps getting close, hitting the rear again of the Mercedes, showing that clearly his hard tyres have gotten a bit faster than the mediums, or he is just purely faster like he was when he got pole position. But this isn't the start IRS needed or wanted, but it is where they are, as Azuk, ultimately, I think he came into the pits. He's actually got wing damage, by the way. That's what Azuk's gotten from the restart. He now sits 19th in the order. Not the best of days. Fusion now making the move. Look at this! We got a 4-way battle, and they're all going for it. Fusion able to run away with the lead slightly. Knights drops down, but Alphonse Gomez makes his way up to 3rd. NTN now drops even further down to 5th. But he's now fighting with Kason White, and Kason White ultimately gets pushed out, and now he drops down to 6th as NTN tries to hold on to 4th. So another 2 places lost for the Red Bull. It just is a backwards race at the moment for NTN and IRS here tonight. I think Azuk may be looking to, he might retire from the session here tonight and see our second retirement of this race, only 8 laps in. But a very interesting start to IRS's campaign, but not the best and not the one they'd be hoping for. They were hoping they would have been leading all of these laps so far, but they have struggled to do that. As we now watch Fusion hold on to the lead, or try to hold on to the lead from Knights in the Williams, but Knights is going to have an easy time with the DRS just to make his way past incredibly easily. But here comes also Alphonse Gomez down the inside. He's making the move. He's trying to make it, and around the outside of the Mercedes he goes, and into P2 goes the Sauber, and that is what he's been looking for all night. And Peck's performance is really coming out, and again, side by side into turn 4, but really, you can just see, really, Fusion didn't have a chance there. No way that they had a chance. To be honest, no chance for Fusion to make his way back past into P2. But this strategy of overtaking from Alphonse Gomez has been incredibly strong. Peck proving their pace early on in their campaign, almost with both their drivers inside of the top 10. But still looking at it, one driver who hasn't come away from this too well has actually been Milan, who's now behind his teammate. Even though he outqualified his teammate, he's behind his teammate now in 9th. And really not having the best of days when it comes down to driving-wise, because it is lap 9, he's P9, and he's at the back of this DRS train, which is not where you want to be. But again, we got more action heading down towards turn 1. NTN making the move once again. He saw Fusion's been weak a couple of times on the defense into turn 1. And this time, Fusion was strong, but that's what NTN is smelling. He's smelling the blood, he's smelling it like a shark, and he is trying to go for it. Here comes NTN once again, but NTN's getting attacked here by the other one, and there's a massive moment at the back of the grid. It looks like Lando and Lumi has had an incident down on the straight. It looks like, oh my god, massive contact there. This is surprising what is going on here tonight. I have no clue with what is going on with these drivers. But they are not playing nicely with each other, and they're very much going for it all the way. Now, NTN has made his move, by the way, on MET Jaden once again. He makes his way back past. But you can just see Alphonse Gomez. He's just sitting here all happy, wanting to get this place and wanting to get this position, as you can see. You can see he's just chasing. He's just chasing down FRC Knights, but he's just a little bit too far back at the moment. The Sauber waiting for a mistake from Knights, but he hasn't made a mistake as of yet. But you see on board a bit closer this time is the Peck driver. Now into turn 4 he goes. He moves to the left. He's going to take the inside line, and Peck take the lead here in Brazil for the first time ever. Debut takes the lead, just like none other than this team that he just overtook. Knights of CRE has just been overtaken, and just like CRE they were leading most of the race, all the way back in Belgium. Round 1 of Season 2, and now we've got a brand new team of Peck who are also leading this race, which becomes one of only one, and again, another season, back-to-back seasons of new teams leading a lap in this in a race, in the opening race of a season. Because see, the mediums are really going off now, because F1 CodeMasters has just pulled about half a second ahead of the Williams. That's one of the biggest gaps we've actually had in the lead. But you can see Fusion's going for it on Knights. He hasn't been able to make that move, but he needs to try and make it now. You can see heading down into the next corner he goes. He's trying to make the move, but still unable to. He's waiting behind the Williams. But a big mistake from Knights once again. We're seeing this sliding on the rear. But here comes a very aggressive Red Bull who's wanting to make a move. We've got some moves happening further back. Kason White is battling over P6. Oh! There goes NTN. He's round. NTN is round and down to P10 now, as he's trying to get away quickly so he doesn't block anybody and so he doesn't drop any more positions as well. He's down to 11th and outside of the points. IRS's day is just getting worse and worse by the lap. This race is generally crazy. I have no words for what this race has been so far. It is something else. It is just definitely something else that we've seen, that we haven't seen in a long while. Azurk now has retired from this race, becoming our second retirement of the season. Disappointing to see, of course. Another retirement. Yeah, a big mistake from NTN. But Alphonse Gomez leads once again. He's actually extending his gap lap by lap from Knights. Knights making more and more mistakes as the hard tyres get faster and faster. 8/10 is now the gap. That's the biggest lead we've had so far. Peck really looking like they could be a genuine title contender when it comes down to later in the season. ICU isn't happy. 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. A lot of disappointment going on there for ABE. More disappointment going on for ABE here tonight. And now heading through the middle sector, you can see sliding from the Sauber. Disappointment coming from a lot of teams here, I must say. Quite a bit of disappointment. TTRE not getting away perfectly, same as IRS. They're having a real struggle to the start of the season. Of course, TTRE were known for having the biggest winning margin last season out in any race, and that came at round 7 in Hungary, when they won by a stonking and whopping 18 seconds. They won by last season. As you can see, TTRE Lando gets a penalty. And now you can see it's MEC Jaden who comes in. He comes in rather early. Might be on the medium tires. I think he was one of the drivers on the medium tires. But you can just see Knight has gained a little bit from this. He's actually all over the... He's getting quite a bit closer this lap. He's about 2-3 tenths closer to Alphonse Gomez than he was the previous lap. Because the Fusion's dropped back a bit. He's now down to 5th. He's behind Kason White and Milan. And he's being chased down by Luca now, who's ready to make a move at any moment. The mediums have really dropped off. The ABE driver of Fusion really struggling to keep up now. You can see just mistake after mistake. The hard tyres coming in far stronger. And that's a massive mistake made by the ABE driver. He's battling over P5 here. But you can see he's battling like it is his life, because these are big points for ABE. They're trying to chase the title. They're trying to do whatever they can do. But at the moment, they're getting outraced and outmaneuvered by AERO. But they're looking for that undercut, of course, on those medium tyres. They're looking for the extra pace. So we'll have to see as the race goes on. Heading down the pit straight now. Knights has gotten close enough to make a move. He is going to retake the lead finally. Fusion now pits. Now into turn 1 they go. It's a little bit of a lockup we see. But look at this. 4-way fighting for the victory. 4 teams all in the battle here over the victory, all on the hard tyres. It can all come down to these guys. They've got no teammates to help them. Here comes Alphonse Gomez again, retaking the lead into turn 4 he goes, and he's done it once again in the Sauber. And that is exactly what they've been looking for so long now. They've been looking for that performance, and they've now found it. Still, this is an important moment for Peck, is just having this lead in the opening race, in their debut race. Having this sort of lead is so incredibly important for them. And especially because both their drivers are inside the top 10 and they're on to take the lead of the Constructors' title, by the way, is probably at the moment their biggest reason to be happy, is that they will take the Constructors' lead in the championship. And so for them, they're walking away with this thinking, we're incredibly happy with where we are. But now Knights comes into the pits. He's going to be followed by Cason White as well at the same time. Neither of them getting penalties, speeding in the pit lane. Now, heading through the next couple of corners, it's only three drivers on the hard tyres that are fighting now over the lead. 2 AERO versus 1 Peck. Who is going to come out from this? It's actually Peck and AERO claiming the top 4 at the moment for themselves. As a completely lockout the top 4, by the way. But that might change any second now, as there's a bit of a move happening further back. You see Fusion. He's made his way past Cason White. Can he get past? Also, the FRC Knights? No, he can't. He's actually going to be coming out battling with the man of Cason White, but on fresh tyres. He hasn't got the warmth, and that ultimately allows Fusion, ABE Fusion, back into P13 and back into provisional position behind Knights, right behind him, as long as he can keep this closely undercut, proving that it can work and that it is incredibly strong. Remember, he did drop behind the McLaren moments before he went into the pits, just on the lap or two previous. So it's going to be incredibly strong and incredibly important for him to do here. Milan, by the way, now takes the lead of the race. It's now another team who lead this race. Can they lead a full lap? That's the important thing, of course. You don't get on any laps. You don't get to lead a lap without completing without crossing the line as leading a lap. You must cross the line to count that you led a lap. As you can see here, Milan currently on his way to potentially lead his AERO's first lap led this season. They didn't lead a huge amount of laps last season. They actually struggled to lead a lot of laps last season. It was not a successful campaign for the AERO team. They struggled compared to the previous campaign. I believe they were about 50 points behind compared to season 1. They scored about 50 points less. They were the 6th team to surpass 100 points in the campaign, in their campaign, and in the whole season. But now we've got to see what this AERO team can do. They've been much more consistent in qualifying so far for this opening race compared to last season. They struggled last season in qualifying performance. They did achieve a few podiums. Their first podium coming in Kota last season with AERO Geekin, their driver and owner, who ultimately took that podium of the season, set them up for another podium or two across the season, but nowhere close. They didn't achieve a victory last season, which was their only disappointment, because in season 1 they did achieve a victory in the final race in the Netherlands. So some disappointment really came for AERO last season, but we've got some battling going on here. Cason White versus Lumi. They're both battling over the great position of P12 at the moment, as these first drivers pit inside of the top 5 are now making their way into the top 10 finally. And look at this, Cason White, he's actually got a really good run on Fusion. Fusion struggling a little bit to keep up with Knights, now about 6/10 behind. So a little bit of struggling coming on from the ABE driver. If you have noticed, there is no AMS driver here today. Yes, there is no AMS drivers here today, because sadly AMS were knocked out of the qualifiers at the end. In the end, as they only turned up with 1 drivers. Now we see AERO Luca enter the pits. We're going to have to see where he drops out and see where he comes when he enters, when he exits the pits. My apologies for getting it all mixed up here tonight. A very busy night, I must say. Gators and cars, very quiet night from the CRE driver, but at the moment, he is chasing down some points, at least, if he can keep up and if he can get a good pit stop, because at the moment, we only just saw Knights go into P9. He's going to be on slightly worn hard tyres, but look at that. Look at the undercut. Look at the overcut, sorry, from the hards to the mediums. Luca's going to be on fast tyres, and he's going to be just slightly behind in the end of the day. At the end of the day, he is going to be only slightly behind. He's only going to be just about 1.5 seconds behind those 3 drivers we were talking about. MET Jaden, of course, is a driver who shifted to the hard tyres. He's chasing his teammate at the moment. When are these guys going to come in, though? That's the big question. When are they going to come in to stop? F1 CodeMasters is going to lead another lap here in Brazil. Another lead lap for Peck. Bit of a mistake in someone running onto the grass very slightly. You can see a few more drivers getting into positions. NTN now finally enters the pits. FR gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Some teams not coming away with a good race so far. They're really having a bit of a rough night, I must say. Some teams really coming away with a rough night. For instance, one is IRS at the moment on 4, where they currently sit 13th, and a retirement to start off their season. No points to walk away with from their opening race, from their debut, which is, of course, rather disappointing to walk away like this. But some teams have a lucky day. I bet they will get theirs at some point. Kinsk gets a penalty, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's still 4th in this race. If you guys are enjoying this race, please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also, click on the notification bell to know about all of our content we will be uploading, from shorts to our streams to videos about these races. Make sure to stick around for all of them. But we've just seen F1's CodeMasters retake the lead of the race once again. The battle between the Ferrari powered cars proving to be pretty powerful. Gaten Cars now making his way past Kinskman, as now he goes into 4th. Pretty nice from him. I must say, it's a rather quiet grid. You can see Jaden on those hard tyres. He's not much slower than his personal best, but you can see Fusion is catching up. Fusion's also gotten past Knights while they've been probably more watching the leaders and talking about a few other drivers. We just saw MET Yago get a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Some teams aren't having a great night. Other teams are. But the main ones who'll be having a good night is actually Alpha is actually the top 5, because they're going to be going really long on these tyres. For instance, Gaten Cast going really long on these medium tyres. He will have to stop again. But for instance, these are the tyres, 19 lap old mediums, proving that the tyres can go really far. And we are just going on to lap 22 as he heads on to them. So it'll be his 20th lap on these mediums, as we've just seen Alphonse Gomez go into the pits. Let's see where he's actually going to come out in all of this. Where is he going to come out? He's going to come out far behind this group. Is he going to jump ahead of Lumi? That's the big thing, getting ahead of Lumi. I think he is going to get ahead of Lumi at the end of the day. Yes, he will. He will be ahead of Lumi when he exits the pits. But he's only just going to be ahead of Lumi, not by a huge amount, but sets him a couple of seconds behind the drivers in front, the drivers who are chasing for podium or victory. Sets them slightly off on pace, but still, it isn't the worst possible. There's been a yellow flag for somebody. That was Lumi. Was that ICU who's had a bit of an incident? Somebody had a bit of an incident in the first sector. Not sure who it was. Still looking around Milan. We're still waiting for Milan to come into the pits. I suspect he'll come in now. Yes, he is coming in now, as he now heads in to make his pit stop, his one and only pit stop of the race. We're going to have to see if others are going to come in. Gaten Cast isn't coming in. He looked like he was going in for a second. A little bit of lagging from Swifty. Now, Swifty takes the lead of the race. Another team, TE, now also take the lead of the race. Finally, they've waited a long, long time to take the lead of the race at some point. It means we might be having a whole lap of Swifty leading, which means it could be the first TE-led lap here in Brazil. And so once again, another lap led by another team. So many laps being led by different teams. I believe only 4 teams led last time the opening lap. Just to say, 5 teams led the opening lap. 5 teams led the race in the opening round of last season. That's what I meant to say, not the opening lap. That would have been crazy. But ultimately tonight we've seen CRE, AERO, ABE all take the lead. Peck as well, which is 4. We've also seen, NTN as well, I believe, or we just saw 4 teams, and we're about to see our 5th team of the night take the lead here And as you can see, Gaten Cast now comes into the pits. Let's see where he's going to drop down to. He's going to be dropping down really far down the field. He's going to be just on the edge of the top 10. He hasn't even stopped yet. He's gone to the softs. He's going to be outside of the top 10. He's going to be 13th. Possibly lower. He might actually be even lower. Yes, he will. He'll be down to about either 15th or 14th. He is going to be 15th ultimately, but on soft tyres for the next 12 laps. So it looks like his points chance has disappeared. It looks like quite a few teams struggling to find their points opportunities coming their way here tonight. It is a struggle for some teams. It is easier for others as well. But ultimately, this lead now, 2 drivers out there. Jaden has almost entirely caught up with them. You can see he's all the way there. Fusion is slowly catching up with Jaden. He's only caught by about half a second in the last about 7-8 laps. So in about the last 6-7 laps. So he hasn't caught by a huge amount as of late. So a little bit of a struggle coming from Fusion maybe struggling to make that, as now Swifty comes in, as he's now going to drop down the order rather heavily, and we've now got a move going on here. Fusion's getting overtaken by Knights. He's about to get overtaken as well by TTRE, Case and White, unable to do so. A little bit of wheel banging, a bit of front wing banging into the rear or a tyre of Fusion. But Luca is now all over the back of him and trying to make a move work. Who's going to go where? Outside, chooses Luca. Now, can he go round the outside? Can he make this move work? Can he make it work? Will he make it work? Sadly, he won't be able to. He hasn't got enough ERS to make the move as of yet. So some disappointment there, of course, coming for Luca. Not able to make the move, but he's made a big dive bomb down the inside of Case and White. That's a massive move made from the AERO driver, and around the outside he's gone. And of course, mediums versus hards. Here comes Alphonse Gomez! Out of nowhere, he is trying to make the move as well. Around the outside he goes, and he's made the move work. Within 1 lap, Case and White has now lost 2 positions, and it's not going to get any better, and it's not getting better for his teammate, who now finds himself last and with front wing damage, and I think that might be the end of the day for TTRE Lando. And now another move. Luca up into P4 he goes. And that's another move made. And look at Alphonse Gomez. He's also trying to do the same. He's copying almost the exact same move. He's just following Luca through on these moves. And this has ultimately sent him up into the top 5. And now ABE not even looking at a top 5 finish in tonight's race. And it's a yellow flag. It's a massive yellow flag. It's Kinskman ultimately. He's had a massive yellow flag. You can see there's a McLaren stopped on the side of the road, who's going rather slowly. We might be seeing a retirement here and now from the TTRE driver. I think we will be seeing it. MET also leading this race, which means we do have our 7th team of the night, by the way. We had MET, FRC, AERO, PEC, ABE. Oh my God, we've had so many. We have had so many. I mean, we also saw TE lead 1, so we've had 6 or 7 teams now. I have to figure out afterwards. And there goes Knights up into the lead. Here comes Luca as well, and that's a swift move by Luca, and up into the podium places fully. Up into P2 he goes, and it's a swift move. But look at Alphonse Gomez. He's also just following through. Oh, contact getting squeezed is MET Jaden. His early pit stop might have gained him early positions, but it hasn't helped him later on in the race. It's all gone downhill for him from here. Really, it has not helped him at all. But this is surprising. It's going to be incredibly surprising to see as the race goes on. But Alphonse Gomez is having a surprisingly good night. We could be seeing a new team on the podium here tonight, along with AERO with a debut podium or possibly even victory to see coming from the AERO team. It'll be very interesting to see whether AERO can take a victory to start off their season and potentially take the lead of, and at the moment, possibly or either entirely take the lead of the Constructors' Championship for the first time in their history. Be incredibly interesting to see, but it looks like it will become that. There's a driver dropping down the order. That is Lumi, who is dropping down the order, by the way. Lumi is the one who's dropped down the order. He's down to 14th, but I can't take my eyes off of this man Luca, and also the other man of Peck, Alphonse Gomez. As a move is about to happen, here comes Ayaro Luca. To the inside he goes. It's a move made, and that is now the lead of the race for Ayaro, and Knights will see this lead potentially or entirely slip away from him from now on, as he's now got Alphonse Gomez also chasing him for position, followed also by Milan. So we could be seeing a double Ayaro podium for the first time in FRLT, and also the first double podium for them, and the first time we'll be ever seeing a double podium to start off a season, by the way. We've never had it. We've never had a double podium to start off the season. We've always had at least 3 teams who have stood on the podium in the opening race. We might only be looking at 2 here, which will be a new thing and a very big difference. But now you can see Luca, he can't get away from the DRS though. Outside, double move, he's getting sandwiched. It is a double move made. Can Alphonse Gomez make the move he needs to make? Yes, he can. And that is now the lead for Alphonse Gomez. AERO now putting together some teamwork to try and make the move. And again, here comes Milan, who now makes the move. He was known for some amazing driving in Falls last season, which ultimately secured the championship for them in AERO. They secured the 4th championship last season. And now, as you can see, it is performance coming from AERO once again. They're wanting to take the Tier 1 championship this season. They want to go for the bigger and bolder work this season. Knights down to 4th. Oh, some sliding from Case and White season. Go back down to 7th. Tons of action is going on, but you can see Knights is just, he can't keep up with the front 3. He's struggling to keep up with the front 3 here. Already second behind. It's not working. The strategy isn't working here, and it is all going wrong here tonight, and it's not what they want to be seeing. Case and White also now making the move on MET Jaden for P6. So these TTRE will be taking some points home to start off their season. At least they'll be taking 8 points home at the moment to start off their campaign. Last season, they were hunting down at one point. They were hunting down a massive place. And now, here he goes on Knights. He tries to make the move on Knights to get that P5 spot. Of course, Case and White has a penalty against him, though. And now, look at this! Side by side, up the hill! Jaden and Knights! I thought we were going to see the... Oh! Big contact! MTN into the back of MEC Jaden. The opportunity of 6th, it looks like to be gone for the Aston Martin. Here comes MTN again. He's making the move. He wants to make the move. He's unable to just yet. Let's see what he can do into the next corner. He's getting squeezed out. And ultimately, that will now see him stay in P7. He gained a place from it, getting ahead of Jaden. But that is not enough for him to do here. He needs to do more. But that move was risky and could end his race in a penalty in the post-race penalties. If the stewards look at any incident submitted, they may give a penalty, and most of the time they do. So he better be careful here, NTN. He might have one or two incidents against him for contact here tonight. And now again, Case and White making the move for P5. He goes ahead of Knights with rather a bit of ease, and there he goes up into the top 5. But that's allowed ABE Fusion to walk away with this a bit. Last season, ABE started their campaign with a podium. They finished 3rd. They started off with 15 points. They're only on their way for 12 points, which will be their second. Out of the 3 seasons they've driven, this will be their second to worst finish. With only season 1 being worse, with a double DNF from ABE. But this race isn't going a lot better. It looks like they'll be scoring less points than last season to start off their campaign. Remember, ABE, they didn't even surpass 200 points last season. They only scored a few more points than they did than in season 1. Now, we only have a few laps remaining. It's lap 32 of 36. These laps are going by so incredibly quickly. So, if you guys want to make sure you keep up to date with all of the racing we have, please make sure to go and subscribe and leave a like. Also, click on the notification bell to know about all of the content, like our streams for races, our shorts, and also videos about our races and any content we have. Also, make sure to go and follow us on Twitter. The link is below. And also, if you want to get into racing, make sure to click the Discord server link below if it works. It should work now. If it doesn't, let me know. But as you can see, a lot of racing is now going on, and it is a yellow flag. That was, I believe, Lumi again. I think it was, that actually looks like that was Hammer Time. VEL not walking away with this too easily. By the way, Fusion got a penalty, so he might be seeing himself shift down to possibly 8th at the end of this. So the points are really not going ABE's way, but the battle is still on. Milan, by the way, got a penalty. Milan has a penalty against him, which means Alphonse Gomez, for the moment, will win this race, and Peck will once again take a debut victory. Just like last season with CRE, they took a debut victory, but they did not win up until, I believe it was round 8 or 9. I believe it was round 9 in the season. 10. It's round 10. Last season would be the next time CRE would take a victory in any race. In that time, TIR took their first win, same as AMS, same as also TTRE. 5 teams won last season. 5 or 6 teams won. Yeah, 5 teams won last season. Let's see if this season there could be more to win. But it's Milan who is currently wanting to try and get that win. But for the moment, Alphonse Gomez is all over the back of this AERO driver, all over the back of this Haas. The battle is still on for many places. But let's just see how these guys will go. Because at the moment, Luca's dropping outside of this 3-second barrier. And we're down... Wow. We're down to the final 3 laps of this race now. 3 laps remain. That's all we've got of our opening race. It's so surprising. They've gone by so incredibly quickly. But it's just crazy. We might be seeing another debut winner and winning team to take a victory in the opening race here in FRLT. This is just going to be surprising if they can do it. If they can hold on to a bit of a mistake from Alphonse Gomez. It's surprising to see how this strategy has worked for these drivers. But at the moment, it looks like NTN, Knights, and Jaden are going to pick up some places, by the way, on Case and White and Fusion. So they look like they'll be dropping down to 7th and 8th, respectively. But NTN might face post-race penalties. We do know it is possible. We have seen it. It has happened before. Drivers thinking that they're steady and they're okay when realistically they have struggled in the past. Only a few laps now remain of this race. You can see ICU pitting once again, same as Lumi. We return to the lead. It is lap 35, 36 now. Another lap has gone by. The medium tyres starting to wear off a bit, by the way, because they're slowing down. But here comes Fusion. It's 3 wide into turn 1. Contact between NTN and Fusion. Oh, more contact between NTN and Case and White. This night has been full of battling and fighting for the IRS driver. Now he goes on. Fusion into turn 4. He tries to make a move. Yes, he does. And he completes the move for P4. And that is the move he was hoping he would have done far earlier, and he could have held on to podium chances, but he's gotten stuck in this group for this entire time, and now he might face post-race penalties, depending where the teams are feeling like reporting an incident, but we'll have to see as the race goes on. And now, heading round at the final few corners, we're going to be looking to the front 2 in a minute. But we're going to look to them now. It is Milan who's going to lead the final lap. AERO leading a massive amount of laps. Quite a few laps they've now led. Here comes Alphonse Gomez for the lead on the final lap here in Brazil of FRLT Season 3. And that is a brilliant overtake from Alphonse Gomez down the straight. We've got some battling further back. Case and White's gone off. He's made a mistake. That's going to have to allow a few drivers through. And now he's got back markers to deal with. There's back markers getting into this. It is all going mental. 3 wide. 3 wide. Oh my God. Milan spun. Milan has spun. He's round. A podium chance is still on the line here. All that NTN will be hoping for is not to make a mistake, not to get a post-race penalty, or he will be losing out on the podium. But this huge amounts of disappointment. Milan retires, and that is the end of his race. But we're going to have to be looking. That is disappointment for AERO. No double points for them here tonight, and it will be a 3-team podium at least. And comes round the final corner. Peck will win. It will be F1 CodeMasters who wins here in Brazil for FRLT Season 3, Round 1. A new season, a new winner, and a new winning team. And that is exactly what they were looking for. That is one hell of a victory. One hell of a victory. Who actually got double points in the end? Did it want? I think. Wow. Only CRE got double points. They're the only team that got double points tonight. The only team. The other team would have been AERO if they had achieved double points as well. Wow. What an end to a race here tonight. Once again, so many different teams. Eight teams. I believe 7 or 8 teams have now scored points here tonight. 7 or 8 teams. That is massive. Even if it's 7, that is massive to start off the season with 7 teams winning the getting points. Sorry, my words are just lost. That was just amazing victory. Well done to Peck. Well done to Alphonse Gomez specifically. What a victory it was from him. But let's go through the order for the winners. Alphonse Gomez did finish with the penalty, by the way, but it wasn't enough as he ultimately wins here for Brazil in Sao Paulo at this lovely circuit we all love of Interlagos. He wins from 5th on the grid, followed by AERO Luca, who goes from 11th to 2nd. Very strong performance. NTN finishes 3rd, and on the podium, disappointment for IRS. Knights finishes 4th, with Fusion in 5th, Case and White in 6th, Gaten Cast in 7th, Swifty in 8th, with MET Jaden in 9th, with Kinskman in 10th, finishing out the points, with FA in 11th, The Hammer Time in 12th, Yago in 13th, ICU in 14th, Donut in 15th, Milan in 16th, Lumi in 17th, with the retirements being Lando, IRS Azurk, and Mackie to end off the day. What a race. What a race. What a day. What an everything. What a track. That was something else to watch here tonight. Really something else to watch. Really, really. It's just incredibly surprising to see here today. It was just incredibly interesting to see here tonight. Just incredible driving. Very fast. Very good. I know some drivers, of course, weren't happy about, for instance, no lobby restart. Or some of the driving standards. But some of this does work. Some of this does happen. Some of this... you sometimes have a bad day. Sometimes you have a good day. Not everybody can get... It was a very interesting race, I must say. But ultimately, that is all from me tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also, click on that notification bell to know about all of the content we're going to be doing across the rest of the season. And also, thank you so much for supporting the whole league. You guys really mean a lot. Also, thank you so much for supporting the channel as well. It means a lot to me and a lot to everybody who works so hard on this league. Because without any of the drivers, managers, moderators, or anybody, we wouldn't have a league. So thank you so much to all of you. Ultimately, I'm rather interested with how the racing was. But my drive of the day, for me, driver of the day has got to be Gaten Cars. 20th last to 7th. It was an incredible drive. Absolutely no way. Just very, very interesting to see. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you very shortly. But let's just give you a reminder of the calendar. We've done Brazil now. That is one race done. Next Tuesday, we'll be going to Miami for round 2 of the season. And then we'll be going Mexico. And then we're going to Great Britain. Yes, the British Grand Prix. Then we'll go to the Middle East for Bahrain. Then return to America for COTA. Then we'll follow up with our European part of the season with Austria, Hungary, Monza. Then we go to Asia for China. And then finally return to Europe for Belgium. Ooh, incredibly, incredibly interesting. Very, very, very interesting to see. Ultimately, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you next Tuesday, I should say. Next Tuesday. Make sure to join us then. There will be some shorts coming out from this race. This has been very interesting. But thank you so much. I'll see you very soon. Goodbye. And away we go to